Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trayambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikalagnikalaya Kalagnirudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Arunachaleshwaraya Namaha. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. One of the most abused words in our diction today, in the modern world, is the word guru. And therefore, I consider it very important on this day to take the time to re-establish what the word guru means. Who is a guru? What is the role of a guru? Does one really need a guru? There are many lives which have been saner without a guru. And therefore, what is this guru parampara? And we also claim, the gurus claim their day, like Father Day, Mother Day. We also have Guru Day. So who is this guru? Well, let's take some time to explore. The word guru is made of two syllables, gu and ru. Gu stands for darkness. Gukaraha andhakaraha. Gukaro vai andhakaraha. Rukaraha tannivartakaha. Ru stands for removal of darkness. Gukaraha andhakaraha. Rukaraha tannivartakaha. Andhakara nirodhitvat guruhu iti abhidiyate. Just memorize a verse and you have the definition. The whole philosophy is in the form of verses. Think of it. How many cultures can boast of philosophy presented in a verse form? You can sing your philosophy away. Yeah? The one who removes darkness from your life that person is considered to be a guru. So very obviously the word guru, or the one who can rightfully take on this title, is one who removes darkness, ignorance. Ignorance can be regarding so many issues. And so we have music guru, dance guru, all varieties of guru, Ayurveda guru, doctor guru, you know, medical colleges, they say guru. Even a street, a mafia gang will have his guru. Hey guru. They won't go guru, they'll say hey guru. Language may be different, but he is also a guru. Because he has taught them the tricks of the trade. He has taught them to be an expert pickpocketer. Guru. And therefore any darkness dispel in any field is a guru. Well, in our culture, in the Vedic culture, we use this expression particularly for one who has helped you shed the ignorance about the self. One who has been able to help you understand the nature of yourself. One who has taken you from darkness to light. Which light? The light that is yourself. Very big. Very powerful. Because the role of a guru is one that brings you to yourself from the mortal being as you know of yourself to the immortal self. From the time-bound being that you know yourself to be to the time-free soul that you are. From the embodied being that you know yourself to be in this physical body to the disembodied being that you are. And thus the role of a guru is addressing this person with all his limitations to tell you, hey, you are free from all limitations. The limitations does not belong to you. Limitations imposed upon the self by the body, by the mind, by your thinking, they are all illusions. There is no truth behind it. And what is the truth? The truth is you are free. You are that infinite light. You are one that is you live in the image of the infinite light. In fact, you are God manifest. It takes great courage to make this statement. It takes greater courage to live this statement. And therefore, a guru represents this. Here is a person who has been able to declare these truths in his or her life, not for others, for oneself. And this soul comes into my life to help me discover the same about myself. How did this individual discover this truth? Well, this person was also like me. It's just a few quotes before or few after, is the same train. But that coach reaches the station a little earlier, few minutes earlier than the other, far behind, few seconds earlier. And therefore this person was a disciple, a shishya. This person was looking for certain answers, and in search of those answers, well, discovered his guru, her guru. What about that guru? He was in search of also the answers and then really chanced upon his guru. And therefore every shishya had a guru who was a shishya of his guru, who was a shishya of his guru, who was a shishya of her guru, why always his? Who was a shishya of his guru, who was a shishya of her guru. And then where does it all begin? It begins where that guru did not need to become a shishya of his guru. Who could that guru be? That guru has to have a beginning, not in ignorance. If you begin in ignorance, then you need a shishya to help you shed your ignorance. But if your beginning is knowledge, if you are nothing but knowledge, then you become the original guru, the Adi Guru. Is there such a soul, the Adi Guru? It's like, who's the Adi chick? Who's the Adi father? Who's the original mother? That is exactly the person who is the Adi Guru. And hence we say Sada Shiva Samarambham. This Gurudom has started from Bhagavan himself. Sada Shiva Samarambham, Bhagavan himself is the Adi Guru, because he is the infinite light. There is no darkness for the Creator. Bhagavan, the Lord himself, is the first Guru. And Lord as the first Guru is represented in our tradition as Dakshinamurti. We have Dakshinamurti. You can see Dakshinamurti closer later. He is the Adi Guru, Lord Shiva. And this knowledge that all that is here is infinite light, all creation is nothing but manifestation of infinite light. Every being born is as though born, gone is as though gone. The truth is, the soul has no birth, no death. These statements, this truth, how did it come? How did it reach us? How could it reach us? Well, they are said to have been given in the creation as revelations. Revelations are messages. Messages given by the non-physical world to the physical world. It's very important to understand the place of revelations, because unless we recognize what are revelations, there is no place for Guru Parampara. This Parampara, the lineage, the Guru tradition. Revelations require three things. The revealer, the revealed, and the revealer, the person or the individual revealing, then the receptacle to whom it is revealed, and the very message called revelation. And here, this revealer and to whom it is revealed, if both belong to the material reality, we don't call it revelation. If what is revealed is a communication between the non-physical world and the physical world, our physical world of atoms and molecules, if you think this is the only world, then I wish you good luck in life. If the material reality is the only reality, we think there are people who think material world is the only world. There is no other reality except what meets the eye. What you don't see does not exist, really. You don't see Vayu, wind. Does it exist or not? You don't see space. Does it exist or not? You don't see all these emotions with the physical eye. Your anger, your love, your jealousies, your frustrations, do they exist or not? What is it? Is the physical eye your only check of reality? In fact, what you see with the physical eye, even though you see, many a time it doesn't exist. The biggest deception is this physical eye. Even though the eyewitness is the final Pramanam in court. I see the horizon, where is it? I see the mirage, where does it exist? The truth of the existence of mirage, is it because the eye see it? So what is the big deal about the eye seeing something or does not seeing something? Does that prove reality? Does that really prove the finality of the material world that we perceive? Bluff. These eyes make you see as solid that which is nothing but atoms and molecules. It is a big bluff. It's a big illusion. And therefore, if we living for this material world with our material pursuits as our final goals of our life, what a tragedy. What a tragedy. What a waste. Because there is a lot more to discover in this universe minus what the eyes present to us. Understand? There is a non-physical world too. And there is this non-physical world whose existence need not be proved by the naked eye. And because it does not prove, does not mean that that world does not exist. Well, this other realms in this universe, if there is such a non-physical reality, there must be beings in that non-physical reality Like I am in this material world sitting as an embodied being. In the non-physical world there may be beings that are unembodied, non-embodied. I don't know which works, eh? Non-embodied beings. You got the point. And these non-embodied beings, who are they? Some of them known to me. Some of them are known to me. Some of them the scriptures declare they exist like angels and so on. Some of them are my own ancestors. When they died, they didn't go into nothingness. They didn't become shunya, zero. They continue to live as unembodied in other worlds. Is it not true? And therefore there is that reality which consists of beings lower than us, higher than us, more knowledgeable than us, less knowledgeable than us. You call them masters, you call them siddhas, you call them saints, you call them pretas, you call them souls, you call them disturbed souls. They're all part of that world. And all of them communicate. Interesting. Just look at this. They all communicate to the earthly beings. They all communicate. I'm sure in this group here there are many of you who have received communications from a grandfather who passed away, or from somebody very close to you who passed on, dear to you, who comes back. Comes back unembodied because you have made sure you have taken care of his body. Sometimes when they don't take care of the body and the fellow returns, it happens. All kinds of stories you hear. Recently in Tiruvannamalai it happened. This person was taken to the crematorium and he got up. He just got up and sat there. An interesting culture there, that if such a thing ever happens, the village will leave the fellow in the crematorium and go home. He cannot come back to the village. And he did not return to the village. He became a sadhu. This is how sadhus are born. Really, they didn't take him back. You may be crying for the guy, The family weeps for him. Why did you go? Why did you go? Left me alone. I wasn't ready for this. And the fellow says, I didn't go anywhere. I'm back. Really, you're back? Who wants you anyway? And so here we have all varieties in the non-physical world giving messages. But what is communicated depends on who reveals. What is communicated depends on who reveals. Suppose there is a preta, a soul, communicating to his grandchild. Well, what will be revealed is something very, very maybe mundane or maybe profound. I love you. Okay. A higher master who is more knowledgeable would reveal a bigger truth. Well, what happens when Lord Shiva himself reveals? when this non-physical world can communicate to the physical, even by lower souls communication is possible, then can God not speak to you? Can Bhagavan himself not reveal? Can Bhagavan himself not communicate? Is it so much beyond his capacity to communicate? In fact, it depends on whether there are proper receptacles. If you are open on the earthly plane, if you are ready to receive communication, well, you become a chosen one. You become the blessed one. Revelations from God himself, from the Lord, from the divine light. Revelations given to exalted embodied beings whose minds were sharp, ready, pure, ready to receive this knowledge. Why do you call them revelations? Because certain truth about the embodied being was revealed. What was revealed? What was that message? The highest message that can ever exist in humanity. There is no message greater than this. There is no message more profound than this. There is no message that can match this message. Hey, what is that message? That you are infinite light. That the human being is not what the human being thinks he is, of the size of this physical body, with all its problems, aches and pains, that I am Bhagavan. I am the infinite light. This is the truth. For whom? This is the truth for whom? For the one who has owned up his true nature. Well, this revelation, this message, the highest message, was given to humanity, and that message was called the Veda. This self-knowledge, knowledge of the self, was given to humanity, may have been given through different people, different civilizations. We do not know what the beginning of creation was all about. But one thing we know, that this piece of knowledge called the Veda found its way through the centuries, through thousands of years. It was given to these souls, exalted souls, who further shared with the next generation this knowledge. And they, having received, they made it a point to pass it on to the next. And thus it was passed down century after century for thousands of years. Wasn't there a break somewhere? Not only it was just knowledge, a whole spiritual culture evolved. An entire civilization evolved with this knowledge as the backbone. A whole civilization that saw nothing but divinity in all forms. There was no such thing as secular world. The world was sacred, the world was divine. And that civilization was called the Vedic civilization. And its people were committed to owning up this Veda, this knowledge that would make them free. Live in this as embodied beings with the what you call the base attitude of gratitude. There is a basic bhavana in the Vedic heart, and that is one of gratitude. Kritagnyata. You can have gratitude in your heart when there is a fulfillment in your heart. I can never have gratitude if I am needy. Can I? I'm so thankful to you. For what? For making me feel so inadequate. Inadequacy can never give you a sense of gratitude. Because inadequate, always longing, always needing. This is a knowledge that told us you don't need anything, you don't need anyone. You have everything, you are everything. It changed the entire paradigm of human life. All our ups and downs, it put them in perspective. It defined what is love. Not based on definition of need. Love for us today is all need. Who fulfills my need? I love you. Tomorrow he stops fulfilling my need, then I say I love you, goodbye. Go your way, I go my way. All these what do you call need-based thinking, need-based society, need-based civilization is basically dissatisfied soul seeking to accomplish, seeking to become successful. Where is he going to end? All depends on how you define success, really. How we define success. We define success in such funny terms and then panic because the globe does not, nature does not really concede to those definitions. Today you find such major imbalance, the global warming and so on. We get worried. We get worried only to worry, not to come up with solutions. Because our solutions need giving up of a lot. And who will be the first one to bell the cat, you know? Who will be ready to give up, to let go? We want. We want our comforts. The other fellow should remain in poverty, but not me. My lights should ever remain on. He is the one who should have power cuts. This is India, you know. And so all poverty is for the other, not for me. We live with double standards. And therefore, this need-based philosophy we have created, our economy, our politics, our governance, our civilizations, our definitions of success, you look at this all around you. It's all driving us crazy. Or driving us to think in an emergency SOS tone, you know. Because people are thinking people may be misguided, that's all. And therefore the thinking souls, if they are given proper guidance, spirituality on our planet can become such a global pursuit. It's not too far. If only If only these masters can help us all come together on common footing. Well, here was a civilization that based its philosophy on the fact that you are free, you are triptaha, you are content. Looking at yourself as a needy soul is an illusion. Needs are illusions. Dukkham is illusion. Sorrow is illusion. Limitations are illusions. And how do you prove this? It's one thing for you to make statements, it's another for you to help me see it. Well, generation after generation, think of it. For hundreds of generations, for thousands of years, these people on earth, holding on to this revelation, worked on it, actualized it, materialized it in their lives. And that process of materializing made them live in a certain culture with certain rules, certain norms, certain what you call, definitions of justice and dharma and whatnot. They began to see sanctity of life, sanctity of forms, of food, of dress, of culture, of anything. Everything was sacred for them. There was no life which is not the reflection of the infinite light, and therefore life is respected. Vedic philosophy brought to the culture civilization some profound, what you call, ways of living. And these souls handed down generation after generation these revelations. To whom? To those who were keen on receiving them, who were ready for them, who was not really carried away by mere material success. They sought something deeper than what met the eye. Well, this handing down of this knowledge brought what we call this Veda Parampara. Parampara means lineage. What lineage? Lineage of this wisdom. The greatest message that humanity can ever saw, ever sees, ever will see. No one can improve on this message that you are infinite light. You are Bhagavan. You are truth manifest. Who can improve on this? You are free. And therefore, what are you carrying this weight on your head for? All cross is an illusion. There isn't one son of God. We are all children of God. We are all divinity. In fact, we are all gurus. We are all people, any of us who owns up this teaching, this knowledge in my heart, I become my own guru. Your guru is in your heart. Because this is the guru that guides you to truth. It takes you to the right sources and therefore you become your own guru. Eventually. It's like a child, learning to walk. First you give your finger and then slowly pull it away. Well, in this parampara, why Guru Day for us is so crucial is because Guru represents this great revelation. Revelation that frees me. Revelation that teaches me who I am. Not a sinner. Not afflicted. All afflictions are at the level of the mind, level of thoughts. The self is the seer of the mind, seer of the thoughts. The self is not the mind, not the thoughts. The self is one that really cognizes thinking. And therefore these thoughts cannot really affect the self. It is this silly mind, monologuing mind, chattering mind, which has nothing better to do than go on internally, yak, 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 yak. Suddenly it finds somebody to talk to, fine, goes on. When there is nobody to talk to, it doesn't stop. It goes on, yakety yak internally. This mind I am not. Thus the teachings really have been handed down to us in this beautiful tradition. And how many masters. It's not a civilization that saw one prophet, one master in one generation and he was the last, first and the last. No. Every generation has produced souls. And different forms in which people reach that truth, ultimate truth. When I say I am the infinite light, and if my inspiration of that infinite light is this saint, this master called Sri Rama, then my lineage becomes a Sri Rama lineage. If that which inspires me is Sri Krishna's life, and that infinite light is revealed to me with Sri Krishna as the nimittam, well, then Krishna Parampara becomes that same Veda Parampara. Shakti Parampara becomes the same Parampara. If for me yoga, if for me physical certain stability I take up, for which I follow certain practices, they become my tools to help me go into myself, to discover what? That I am the infinite light. The same discovery. Well, then this journey within, those masters who help me access myself through this journey within, I become part, they are my parampara, they are my teachers, my gurus. There have been many great yogis in our tradition. They are all important. There is nothing that is not important. They are all important. It is just what works for you. Because there is a journey toward, the journey itself is an illusion. What is a journey towards the truth that already exists? What is the journey between ignorance and knowledge? How far is knowledge from ignorance? I know how far is southeast London from northwest London. I know that. I can measure in miles. What is the distance between ignorance and knowledge? Well, the second the ignorance is shed, it's over. So what is the journey? The whole journey is another bluff. And so if you take to a yoga bluff, or I take to a Vedanta bluff, or somebody takes to a Bhakti bluff, who are you worshipping? Bhagwan. Which Bhagwan? Bhagwan is you. That's why we say Deho Devalaya Proktaha, Jivo Deva Sanatanaha. The body itself is a temple. God is here and the fellow is worshipping there. Bluff? No, no, please. Don't call it bluff. That's all that's left in my life. Well, if that's all that's left, enjoy. Enjoy, because that is also Bhagavan. This is also Bhagavan. Therefore, Soham Bhave no Pujayet. I keep this Bhagavan out there and worship, because I cannot worship that Bhagavan here. My tools of worship are all milk, Pal Abhishekam, Doodh ka Abhishek, Kheer ka Abhishek. All this Abhishek I'll have to put on my own head. Therefore, practically, I worship this Bhagavan outside. What is the distance? What is this worship? What is this bhajans? The whole thing is an illusion. But until I see it as an illusion, it is true for me. Until I take all that I seek out back into myself, until I become the very source of light, until I claim that nature of mine, I can love the other. What is claiming the self as? What is this infinite light that I am? How would it manifest in the human life? Nothing short of love, nothing short of compassion, nothing short of seeing every other being as non-separate from me. And therefore, until I have done away with this small self, reclaimed me as this higher being, and materialized this, actualized it in my own life patterns of behavior and so on, until this transformation happens to me, well, I will need to continue doing my bhajans, listening to the Vedas, doing my charities, and so on and so forth. Because the outside is the source of inspiration, not the inside yet. In this study of the Veda, please understand one thing very beautiful about the spiritual culture. The Vedic culture has been a spiritual culture. Vedic culture is not a mere culture, a secular culture. It is a spiritual culture. Spiritual culture means in and through living your mundane life, it gives you tools to always access divinity. It keeps giving you tools to remind yourself of the divine being that you are. That is why all this ornamentation of the divinity within, food that is eaten is offered to the Lord within. The eater is Brahman. The eating is Brahman. The eaten is Brahman. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmana Utam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Don't run to the kitchen, okay? Not yet. So prayer before food. Food is Brahman. Brahman means that infinite light. And so this Guru Parampara is a parampara. Why Gurus are revered is only because they remind me of who I am. The only reason, if there is one reason to offer reverence to this human being, People say, we don't worship. These Hindus worship human beings. They only worship God. What do you do if this human being is God? The worshipper is God. The worshipped is God. All that is here is Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. All that is here is God. Then what do you do? Here is a tradition that says, hey, where are you, the limited soul? There is no limited being. All that is here is divine light. In the form of the worshipper, in the form of the worshipped, in the very process of worshipping. All that is here, the karta, the karma, the karanam, everything is divinity manifest. These are the different forms of the divine light, different manifestations, different bhavas, Raudra bhava, Saumya bhava. Everything is divinity manifest. What a vision. Nothing exclusive. If anything exclusive, then that does not exist. That from which you exclude God, that does not exist. God is all in all. All that is here is Bhagwan. I can relax. That's the spiritual culture, the Vedic culture. Well, sounds very remote, isn't it? Vedic culture in this model, who lives? That's a different problem, okay? Who lives is a different problem. It's a modern problem. But that doesn't negate the model of this culture, of this civilization. And therefore, even though today it's a confused culture, there is no great Vedic culture being lived either in India or anywhere else. But still, the spirit needs to be understood. Because the human heart seeks that spirit of oneness. Seeks the spirit of unification. No human heart can live with division, duality. Can you? Can duality ever be the philosophy of human life? Please tell me. I am separate from you. In separation there is no harmony. Harmony comes only when you think, I am you, or we are one, is it not? Can look into the other one's eyes and say we are one. Our love may manifest differently, but it's different. I love you not for who you are, but for who I am. Love is not invoked by a need. Love is a statement of fact. That I am loving is what I am, is a statement of fact. I love you because you are worthy of my love is an illusion. Therefore, there will be some worthy, there will be many non-worthy. Understand? Love's worth is not defined by the other person. Its presence is not felt by a need. It is a statement of fact. Atma is loving. Atma is love. The self is love. Because the self is God and God is love. And therefore I declare my love whether you deserve or not. Understand? This is called unconditional love, It is not conditioned by who you are, who is the receptacle. It is unconditioned. It is a statement of fact. This is who I am. Hey, why do you love me? It's a typical question, You ask, why do you love me? Do you really think I'm deserving of your love? No. You are the last person I would have ever loved. But what to do? I am love. You are lucky that you can receive my unconditional love. Really speaking, I don't love you because of you. I love you because of who I am. This must be, this is the truth. I love you because of who I am, not because of who you are or what I am when I am around you. You know, like some men are known, who are you? I am so and so's husband. He's known in the community as so and so's husband. Why? Because she is the popular one. No, I love you because it's I am love. Thus, when I make these statements, live my life, living by these principles, this understanding, these insights, I tell you, I am closer to the truth of my nature. This is how one begins to, the transformation happens. Study remains bookish. It doesn't translate into my heart unless I bring in these insights into working reality. The Veda, the Upanishad study gives me the insights. But you create this support group that you do your satsangs for what? So that with each other's help, you actualize, you materialize in your heart what you have known. You know? We always say Vedanta is cognitive. It is not, it is to be understood. In my own tradition, I hear this all the time, it's cognitive. Yes, it's cognitive. All knowledge is cognitive. But cognitive doesn't mean head heavy. Anandoham, when we say, all that is here is one consciousness. When we say, what is cognitive about this? This soul who recognizes all that is here is consciousness, and that consciousness is embodied here in this being. Then when this individual relates to the world, external world, how would he relate? How would that consciousness be experienced in his heart? How would it materialize in his life? Don't tell me Vedanta is mere cognitive. It needs to become a reality, a living reality. I am God must become a living reality. I, as unconditional love, must become a living reality for me. I, as compassion to beings, must become a living reality. I, as a soul, doesn't need anything. I am content. I have everything. Must become a living reality for me. And that, the day that begins to gel, I would say the teaching has blessed the person. You know, the spiritual culture helps. This kind of support group helps. These reminders of programs like this really bring us back. Hey, what is it that has brought us together today? Nobody wants anything from anybody else here. All are here for one purpose, and that is to know self as non-different from God. That I am divine. I don't want to know if Sundar is divine, or Saraswati is divine, or Mr. X is divine, or this Amma is divine, or some third person is divine. Let them be where they are. How do they help my life? they will give me one apple, one ashirvadam. That's all I can do. Scriptures say you don't need to go to anybody. You are divinity manifest. You are the light manifest. That's a statement. Make that statement to yourself and claim who you are. Remember who you are. Relive who you are. In your grandest vision, as somebody said, the grandest vision, have the greatest life, God in human life, There have been avatars, incarnations, gods that lived in human lives. Saints were human beings who lived God lives. They were ordinary souls born of ordinary families, parents. What is ordinary and unordinary, extraordinary? Who decides? It's that spark of divinity, that's shown in their lives that inspire you. Let that divinity be my inspiring light in my own heart. Beauty about the Vedic tradition is it tells every soul, you are that light. You are that light. Don't see yourself small, insignificant. You are the divine light. It is for you to claim it. No, it is your inheritance. It is for you to claim it. This message, the one who can give me, who can stay with me, who can help and guide until I can guide my own life in the direction. The one who can bring me to this truth about myself alone deserves to be called Guru. And therefore, it is only proper, at least to remember that Guru one day in a year and through remembering him, remind ourselves of what our priorities in life is. And so I would say I'm very happy to be here today to share this evening in remembering this great tradition. A tradition, the Vedic tradition, that sustained this vision for centuries together. And then what happened? Did it become obsolete? Shankaracharya Madhyamam. They were great acharyas, great visionaries who came. Revelation was given, all right, as a body of knowledge. This knowledge was compiled in a manner that it could be accessed by people. And the compilation was made based on the certain hymns in the form of poems were called Rig Veda. Those mantras, those portions which were in the form of prose were called Yajurveda. Those portions of that knowledge that was sung in swaras, they were categorized as Samaveda. And similarly, we have Atharva Veda. Certain other specific portions of those mantras given by Angiras Muni, these rishis. Thus, sage Vyasa really categorized, compiled them in these four formats: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. And then what did these Vedas say? Well, it talked about the pursuits of a human being, pursuits that we call worldly pursuits, pursuits that were driven by desires for things, and behind all those desires was one desire seeking what? Happiness. A pursuit that addressed that desire straight, gave the solution in its purest form, true form. Well, the Veda, each of these Vedas further were divided into two sections called Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda dealt with different means and ends, like fulfilling desire for money, for wealth, for progeny, for heaven, so on and so forth. All these pursuits that needed certain activities, certain karma called Karma Kanda. And there was a section called Jnana Kanda dealing with knowledge, the metaphysical elements, dealing with realities about the self, creation and God. So these four Vedas, each one has Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. That Jnana Kanda is what we call being, is called Vedanta. Bulk of the Veda was Karma Kanda and the end of the Veda is Vedanta. Vedasya Antaha, Vedanta. That which is at the end of the Veda. And so Rig Veda had this knowledge, Vedanta knowledge. Those mantras that dealt with oneness, talked about oneness of the individual and God and the world. In Rig Veda, it is Aitareya Upanishad. Yajur Veda, again there were statements, different statements. We have Shukla Yajur Veda, we have Krishna Yajur Veda. Shukla Yajur Veda had these statements. Those statements there were called Ishavasya Upanishad. Starting from Isha, Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Kathopanishad, they all form sections dealing with this Aikyam in Yajur Veda. Similarly, we have Samaveda, remember, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. Jnana Kanda is nothing but Vedanta. And Vedanta reflected as Aikyam, oneness. Mantras dealing with oneness. And those mantras were known as, in Samaveda, as Kenopanishad, Chandogyopanishad. Similarly, we have in the Atharva Veda, in the Vedanta portion, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad. And so you have all these Upanishads, these 10 known Upanishads. In fact, there is some 188 Upanishads. Wherever there is a statement of oneness, that's known as an Upanishad. Out of all these statements and portions, certain Upanishads, 10 of them were taken. This early compilation was done by sage Vyasa, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. And then from these Upanishads, these 10 specific ones were selected for looking into what the vision of these mantras are. And that was done by the great Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya's commentary on these 10 Upanishads forms the basis of the spiritual tradition. Ishakena Katha Prashna Mundaka Mandukya Tittirihi Aitareya Cha Chandogya Brahadaranyaka Tattatha. These 10 Upanishads. And therefore, like the revelations from Bhagavan Sadashiva Samarambham and the revelations compiled by sage Vyasacharya, sage Vyasa's compilation further selections taken of these visions and commented upon what is the vision of the Upanishad, that Eka Vakyata, that one vision that flows through all these Upanishads, was established and brought to really to humanity at large by this one great visionary, Adi Shankaracharya. And therefore, in the classical study, God is studied in our tradition. He is first studied, like your study, opening a book and study. How do you study God? You study God means you study the self. Study of God is study of self. Knowledge of God is knowledge of self. And therefore it's a very airtight package of this teaching tradition. A particular methodology is adopted to unlock these words of the Veda revelations, which are in the Sanskrit language. And therefore, with the help of this methodology, God is revealed as the self. And that has been how the tradition has given to us. After Adi Shankaracharya, there were other acharyas. Like the mantra, the Vedic mantra was commented upon by Adi Shankara. Adi Shankaracharya's commentary was further commented upon by other scholars. Anandagiri was one great scholar. His works are called the Tika. He clarifies Shankaracharya's stand. Then Anandagiri, to understand Anandagiri, you have another great what you call work, Tika, Tippani work. Words of Anandagiri is explained as Tippani Karas. Then there are Vartikas, Vrittis. It's a whole Vedantic literature is vast. And therefore a student of Vedanta means one who has studied, gone through what? These 10 Upanishads. How? Adi Shankaracharya's commentaries, and in the tradition Anandagiri Tika with the Tippani, one who has this insight into the Vedantic literature, and having grasped the essence, has chosen to live a life to own up this teaching in a manner appropriate to what the person has learnt. That person alone, what you call, such a soul, we would say it belongs to the parampara, the guru-shishya parampara. Understand? Nowadays we have all kinds of gurus, He doesn't even know what is Vedanta. They don't know whether Gita comes in the Upanishad or Upanishad comes in Ramayana. These are basic fundamental questions. We have, and sometimes when you hear them on TV, my goodness, media captures all these lacunas in their head. Somebody was asking me, how come it looks like in modern India these these spiritual people are loads and loads of them. Who's producing them? It looks like it's some kind of a mass production factory. Tons and tons of monks and monkeys, What do you call lady monks? Add a E. Kumar, Kumari, monk, monkey. So many of them. How can anybody produce? This mass production is silly. That's because everybody wants to become a guru without having to undergo being a shishya. Everyone. People say Ramana Maharshi didn't have a guru. All over he talks about Arunachala as his guru. Bhagavan himself was his guru. Why? Because he knew how to access the non-physical. He could directly take the teachings from Bhagavan. He didn't need an embodied soul to be his guru. It was Arunachala who was his guru. He sat at his feet all his life. Who said Ramana Maharshi didn't have a guru? And therefore, Guru can be in the non-physical. Guru can be in the Vedic parampara. Guru, understand, need not be in the Vedic parampara either. It is not that only the Veda talked about Aikyam, oneness. There have been these statements of oneness through many civilizations. And there are even today saints in other cultures who talk about oneness. There are people today you find this new age, what you call new age spirituality in the Western world. It is not just new age, some expression they have. But read some of the works, so profound. Wherever there is a message of infinite light being the jiva, the individual, that is Vedanta. Whether it is new age or old age, whether it comes in a Vedic package or any package, I would say it is Vedanta. Whether it is some Walsh somewhere or some Abraham somewhere, whoever may be the master, whoever may be the giver, whoever may be the revealer, if the message is you are infinite light, that is Vedanta. And to all those gurus on this planet, in all civilizations, today alive around, and those who are in other worlds inspiring, giving this guidance to the globe, to all of them our namaskar, to all of them our reverence, our offering. We may close this session with a prayer, and then if there is any questions, we will take at the end of the session. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantām Nyayena Margena Mahisha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति